Hello students, we are continuing with the chapter 6 tissues. In the previous chapter we have discussed about the tendons and ligaments, and now we'll discuss about the skeletal tissue, skeletal connective tissue. We have discussed earlier about the supportive tissue. Now we are discussing about the skeletal connective tissue. So now skeletal connective tissue is what? They are solid connective tissue, and they forms the internal framework of the body. That means they are found inside the organism body to provide the mechanical support. That's why they are called as supporting connective tissue. Okay, because they are providing support to our body internally, they are called as supportive connective tissue, and these are of two types. One is bone and the other is cartilage. Now you all know about the bones. Okay, bones, everyone knows that bones form the skeleton system. Bone is hard, different bones are there, near about 206 bones are present inside a body. Bones are meant for providing support to a body. Then with bones, muscles are attached. With the muscles we are able to move. Okay, but what about cartilage? So first of all we'll discuss about the cartilage. Cartilage is usually called as the flexible tissue, which is present at different positions of our body. For example, like the nose tip. Okay, in the nose, when you put your finger and you press it, okay, you can feel a little harder substance, but you can say that it is not just like a bone. Though it is hard, but it is not just hard as bone. So this is what it is, the cartilage. Then between the nostrils we have a partition wall which is called as nasal septum. So this is also made up of cartilage. Then this our ear, external ear, this is also made up of cartilage. Then we have the joints. In between the joints, cartilage is present to make it smooth. So that means different positions at different points cartilage are present. Another example is our backbone. Our backbone is made up of many small vertebra or many small bones. So in between these bones, cartilage is present, which is responsible for the flexibility of the backbone, and because of this cartilage only we can bend. Okay, so here I told you about the different examples of cartilage which are present inside a body or at different locations of the cartilage inside a body. Now just have a look about over here, what is cartilage. So cartilage is what? It is hard and flexible. Solid matrix in it is filled with living cells. It is hard and it is flexible, and it is made up of a solid matrix, solid substance which has a filling of living cells. That means in between the solid substance, living cells are present. Then what are the functions of cartilage? It forms the endoskeleton of the body. That means it is present inside the body. So it forms the internal part of the body, and that's we call as endoskeleton. Then it provides flexibility to the body part. Just now I told you that it helps in the movement of the bones. So therefore we say that it provides flexibility to the body parts. Then it prevents from mechanical injury. That means when a person met with an accident, then the first thing is that these cartilage, they act as shock absorbers and they prevent the internal organs from mechanical injury. Then it smoothens bone surface at joints because it is present at the joint, and it provides the two bones to undergo friction. That means it makes the surface of the bones smooth so that there is no friction between the bones and there is no damage to the bones. So that means bones can easily move at the joint just because of the presence of cartilage. Now here are the examples of cartilage. Nose tip, ear pinna, between the vertebra, that is between in the backbone, between the parts of the vertebral column, and nasal septum, that is the partition of the nostrils, etc. So this is all about the cartilage. Now next we look for the bone. Students, just now we have discussed about the cartilage. Now here we are going to discuss about the bone. As you know that bone is the hardest substance present inside our body, and it acts as a supporting framework. It is responsible for holding all the organs. So this skeleton system or bone, it is very important, or it plays an important role because it protects the internal organs also. So now just have a look over here about the skeleton system of the bones, that it forms the skeleton system of the body. All the bony structure, bony cage of our body is called as the skeleton system. So bones form the skeleton system of the body. It is solid, it is rigid, strong, non-flexible tissue. So bone is what? It is solid, rigid, strong and non-flexible. That means it is hard and it is not flexible like cartilage. Cartilage is flexible whereas bone is non-flexible, in which living cells are embedded in the matrix. The same thing as in cartilage. Cartilage was flexible, soft, okay. But in bones, bone is what? Rigid, hard and strong, tough. But inside the matrix, living cells are also present in bones. Then it is the hardest tissue and forms the main endoskeleton system, that is our skeleton. What are the functions of bone? It acts as supportive framework for the body. That is just because the skeleton system is there, so it provides support to our body. It attaches muscles and provides support to our organs. Already we have studied about the skeleton system. This is the skeleton system and we have discussed about the muscles, tendons, ligaments. So these are muscles are attached to the bones. So bones are required for the attachment of muscles. Then they protect delicate organs like brain, heart, lungs, kidneys, etc. So the internal organs are protected by the skeleton system. Then bone is a storehouse of various minerals. Means bone is what? It is hard tissue and it is made up of minerals. So that means we say that bone is a storehouse of various minerals like calcium, phosphorus, magnesium in the body. So these are the functions of bones, and here we have studied the characteristics of a bone. Now next topic we will discuss about the difference between bone and cartilage. Now students, here you can see the differences between bone and cartilage. So you can see that bone is rigid. Already we have discussed this thing. Cartilage is flexible. Bone matrix is formed of calcium, phosphorus and magnesium. That means mineral deposition is there. Whereas in cartilage, protein complex is there. Matrix is made up of protein complex. And over here, matrix is made up of minerals. Then bone is hard and tough tissue, whereas cartilage is soft tissue. So these are the differences between bone and cartilage. So students, here we have completed with the second connective tissue. Now we go to the third connective tissue, that is called as the fluid connective tissue. So now just have a look over here. The third type of connective tissue which we are going to discuss is the fluid connective tissue. Now the word fluid itself means liquid. Fluid means liquid. So here the liquid connective tissue present in our body is blood and lymph. These two forms the components of fluid connective tissue. Now we'll discuss one by one. First of all, we'll discuss about the blood. Blood is what? It is made up of, or we say it helps in the transportation of food, oxygen, then helps in the transportation of waste material, and it provides or it connects each and every cell of the body and is connecting the all the cells, and it provides nutrients as well as it takes the waste materials. That means it provides oxygen and it collects carbon dioxide. It provides nutrients and collect the waste. It provides medicines also to the cells and different hormones. So now we'll just discuss about the different types or the components of blood present inside a body. Before that, we'll discuss about what is blood. We say that blood is what? It is a liquid or fluid connective tissue. It is red in color, and this red color is due to the presence of pigment hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is present in RBCs. These are called as red blood corpuscles. So now we say that blood consists of number 1 RBCs, number 2 WBCs, white blood corpuscles, and number 3 platelets. So these 3 are the different types of cells present in the blood. So we say that these are the solid particles. And these cells, these 3, they are present in the fluid part which is called as plasma. That means plasma acts as a medium in which RBC, WBC and platelets are present. So this forms the blood. RBCs are also called as erythrocytes. RBCs are called as erythrocytes, or we call them as red blood cells. WBCs are called as leukocytes. They are called as leukocytes, or we call them as white blood corpuscles. And platelets are called as thrombocytes. Platelets are called as thrombocytes. Now, what is the role of these? Usually, RBCs are containing hemoglobin, and hemoglobin is meant for transportation of gases. Exchange of gases means carbon dioxide is transported and then again oxygen is transported. So carbon dioxide is taken out, collected from throughout the body, and then it is brought to the lungs where oxygen is taken inside and carbon dioxide is released. So that work is done by RBCs. Then WBCs are called as the immunity cells. They are responsible for the immunity of the organism body. That means they act like a defense mechanism. They increases the immunity. Then platelets. Platelets are present in the blood when we have a cut. Blood is released. So you have noticed that when little amount of blood is released, at that time the blood stops coming out. That means blood has clot. So that clotting of blood, that role is played by platelets. So platelets is responsible for the clotting of blood so that extra loss of blood does not occur. So RBCs are meant for transportation of gases, WBC meant for immunity, platelets meant for clotting of blood. These are the 3 components of the blood. And the blood, these blood cells, corpuscles, they are present in the plasma. Plasma is the fluid in which these are present, and it contains proteins. Plasma, it contains different proteins, it contains salts, it contains hormones, it contains medicines, whatever means it helps in the transportation, and it acts like a medium for these three as well as other substances to be transported in the body. Now we talk about the lymph. So what is lymph? Lymph is also a fluid connective tissue, and it is a part of a blood only. It is a part of blood. How? See here, when the blood is moving in the arteries, as you know that arteries carry oxygenated blood, or we say pure blood is carried in arteries. So when blood moves in arteries, arteries divides into many thin fiber-like structures which are called as capillaries. These fiber-like structures, they are called as capillaries, and these capillaries are responsible for providing nutrients and gases to the tissues or cells. So now what will happen when blood move in these capillaries? Then these capillaries are what? They are very thin. And so what will happen? The plasma is filtered out. Some protein comes out from the plasma. Gases which is dissolved in the plasma, it also comes out. And some nutrients which are present in the plasma, they also come out and come in the spaces over here where tissues are present. So this plasma, apart from or which does not contain RBC, okay, because the size of RBC is more. So it does not contain RBC and it comes in the space between the tissues. This is called as lymph. It provides nutrients as well as oxygen to these cells and takes nutrient and carbon dioxide from these cells. Means the waste is collected and then it further joins veins. That means the waste is transferred to the veins. From arteries they are collecting, they enter, they are filtered in the tissues. Now when they come in the tissues, they are called as lymph. Nutrients and oxygen is supplied to the tissues and the tissues remove their waste in the lymph. So now lymph carry the waste along with carbon dioxide and then it give the content into the veins. So now this is what? This is the lymph. Okay, we have discussed about the function of blood and lymph, or we call it as fluid connective tissue. Now students, here we are going to see about the differences between bone, blood and lymph. This already we have discussed about the blood and lymph, their composition, where they are present, what are the different components. So here just have a look over here, differences between blood and lymph. So first one is that blood is reddish in color and opaque. Opaque means we cannot see through the blood. It is opaque. You know very well what do you mean by opaque. Like this wall. I cannot see, this wall is there in between. I cannot see what is behind the wall. So it is opaque. In the same way, blood is also opaque. The next is lymph. Lymph is nearly colorless. Blood is reddish in color and lymph is colorless. and it is transparent. That means we can see through it. Then blood contains 55% of water, whereas in lymph maximum composition of lymph is water, that is 94%. Then in blood RBCs are present and in lymph RBCs are absent. As I told you, the size of RBC is bigger. So what will happen when the blood moves through the capillaries? During that time RBCs does not come out from the capillaries into the between the gaps. So here we say that RBCs are absent in lymph. Lymph does not contain RBCs. In blood WBC content is low because RBCs is more, then plasma is there, platelets are there. So all these compositions are there. So due to that WBC's number is low. Whereas when we talk about the lymph, WBC content is high because when the blood is filtered, when it comes from the capillaries into the gaps between the tissues, during that time, because of the small size of WBC, it filters out and it comes into the lymph. Then blood has uniform composition. That means from wherever we take out the blood sample, throughout the body the same composition will be there. But when we talk about the lymph, at different area, different composition of lymph is there. So we say that the composition varies at different points. So these are the differences between blood and lymph. Just have a look over here completely, the differences between the blood and lymph. Students, we have completed with the fluid connective tissue. Now we are left with the nervous tissue.